Well, hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Friends, great news. Grab your sugary cereal because now it's time for some Saturday morning React-TOONS. This time featuring Robotech, episode 75, Separate Ways. Very Journey-esque of them. Friends, if you could do me a favor, hit that like button, smash that subscribe, ring that bell for notifications. It greatly helps out a small channel and it allows me to alert you next time it's time for some Saturday morning React-TOONS. And of course, if there's anything that we do that you would like early or in its full-length format, the link to our Patreon is in the description. And if you're not a fan of Patreon, consider sticking with us here on YouTube memberships. You'll get all of our episodes about a day early, plus any bonus episodes we come up with. But my dear friends, all that is then, this is now, and now it's time to revisit the past as we go back to Saturday mornings, back to Saturday morning React-TOONS with Robotech's episode 75, Separate Ways. Prepare to engage maximum warp reaction. And away we go! Fanfare! Dramatic! I always think that there's somebody tuning in for the very first time and they see this and immediately leave the stream. Like, what is that? What did this guy do? I apologize too. It's a running gag, friends. And boy, oh boy, does it have legs. 75 episodes worth. So we had Annie's wedding last time, and Annie seemingly left the group, but as I think I told you at the end of the last episode, the thumbnail for the next episode, this one, Separate Ways, had Annie on it. So I'm assuming she's gone, but not forgotten. So I guess we'll see her again. We have to be getting close to Reflex Point, too. From the way they kind of storyboarded it out, and we're in the intro still, everybody. From the way they storyboarded it out in the last episode, it almost seemed like it was like not right around the corner, but they were very close to Reflex Point. So I'm curious to see if we get a sighting sometime soon. Let's see what they have for us today. And the new unit.
We'll be heading north up the coast. I've figured in several stops along the way so we can resupply ourselves with food and water and energy cells. After that, it's just one short hop across the ocean to Reflex Point.
One short hop?
I'll be glad to just get out of this place. I've never seen so much devastation. And you know what else? It's very spooky riding around in an empty city.
So we've been in South America the whole time. I knew you all told me that we started in like the southern point of South America.
Not that I feel a whole lot safer out here in the dark. I'm beginning to think the Invids see equally well day or night.
They see that proto-culture.
Huh? What?
Invid!
Whoo!
Come on, you two! We gotta find some cover!
I hope the others are all right.
Ready?
Yeah, let's go. Well, as soon as you turn them on, they can see you. Draw them away from the alphas, good.
You guys head up this street. I'm gonna switch modes and see if there's some way I can slow them down.
Already liking this episode. Oh, awesome. Get to see the full sequence. Ooh! Oh, that was awesome. Oh, the secondary panels coming in. Oh, that was great animation.
You slugs! Come on!
They just don't have the firepower, those cyclones.
Scott, down here! Come on,
Long said, I'm taking the Jeep down.
they're blasting the tunnel!
Good, that means they're not following you.
Sensors tracking 5-target mecha.
Never mind. Oh my god.
We've gotta go deeper. They're blowing the walls down and they're gaining on us. Look sharp. There must be a passage to a lower level somewhere nearby.
Well, how the hell's Lunk gonna get there?
Dig in, baby. Don't give up on me now.
That Jeep's come a long way.
Ah! Hey! Everybody get under cover. They're trying to cave in the whole tunnel.
If we turn off everything, they'll think they got us.
Safe. Stay next to me.
Oh. You'd have been dead, bud.
Don't you worry about anything. I'll protect you.
Ooh. That beam is wicked.
They must figure they got us. Everybody stay quiet.
Don't turn anything on.
Scanners reveal no further protoculture reaction. Probability of target destruction is 95%. Cortex recommendation, deploy scout troops for additional visual confirmation.
Okay, so they're leaving 3 behind to see the bodies, basically.
Maybe we'd be better off staying put and seeing what happens.
What? You're crazy.
If they believe we've been destroyed, why upset the apple cart?
The only problem with that idea is the persistence of the invid. You know they're gonna be down here looking for bodies.
Lunk?
Well, I suppose we could think about digging ourselves out, but...
You got us into this mess.
Whoa. Calm down.
We could have been safely out of this by now, but no, you've got this holy mission to blow up Reflex Point. Now look where we are. Because of you, we'll all be blown to bits, either that or buried alive. Well, I'm not buying your stuff.
Man, he doesn't even want this command, Lunk.
Lancer, push him away!
Is he hurt badly?
Leave me alone.
Lunk, stop it! But I had to do something. You were out of control. Are you okay?
I'm all right.
I'm all right.
I'm the one who had the bright idea to come down here. If anybody's to blame, it's me.
You little runt.
Wow. That's a sucker punch, dude.
I'm scared I won't make it out of here. I don't belong in this outfit either. I don't have what it takes.
I mean, he just kicked the shit out of 2 of us, so.
I had what it took just now.
Yeah.
Scott, how do you feel?
I feel like somebody's been using my head to break walnuts. We'd better get out of here.
I'm severely concussed, but I'm good.
I'm sorry about what happened. I guess I just went berserk for a minute.
Lunk, the pressure's only gonna get worse.
Yeah.
We gotta do something about this problem.
I don't get you.
Stop thinking of yourself as a coward.
But I cracked.
It happens to everybody sometime.
I mean, you almost died, bud, so I mean, we can understand a little bit of, like, apprehension.
Stay to prove I've got what it takes. I don't know what to do.
They're really tackling a lot of, like, the psychological issues of warfare. Like, a lot. And I admire that.
Rand and Rook explore the abandoned subway station in which they find themselves trapped, but their reconnaissance turns up nothing useful.
The station should have access to the surface.
Even if we do get out, the group won't be the same.
I guess I should tell you something. I've been thinking about dropping out of the group myself.
What?
How could you be thinking that? You know this is an important mission. Annie's gone and Lunk's in trouble. We're counting on you more than ever.
Well, maybe I'm tired of people always counting on me.
Great.
You expect me to believe that? You're just like me. You thrive on danger. I was thinking, after seeing Lunk crack like that, maybe that could happen to me when I least expected it. It's given me a lot more sympathy for him.
It could happen to everybody. We've seen it happen to Scott. Everybody.
Maybe if we both pulled out, we'd be saving everybody's life. Scott would have to postpone his mission while we went out looking for more people.
Yeah.
I mean, finding more people isn't...
We could hop on our bikes and then just take off for the open highway.
Are you serious?
You betcha. I can see it now. You and I can get married and raise a
You've completely missed my point.
Right, I don't think...
You know I'd follow you anywhere in the world.
Have you completely lost your mind?
Yeah.
Not at all. What I've completely lost is my heart.
No, Rand.
Jesus, Rand.
Boy, will Scott be mad. I can hardly wait to see his face.
Okay. Let's watch him look psychologically shattered.
You're all missing Rook's basic point, which is that we've all been under an awful lot of pressure for these last few weeks. It's time for us to rest. And I may have come up with an idea, but it's dangerous.
Well, anything's better than being buried alive.
Now, do we have any protoculture left?
Yeah, at least 3 canisters of the stuff.
Let me have it. I'll blast those big boulders away. But it could cause a bigger cave-in.
Yeah.
Hey, Lunk, are you almost ready over there?
Mm-hmm. Coming right up, little buddy.
Everybody behind something. Keep down.
I mean, anybody have a titanium umbrella? Because you're going to have stuff dropping from the ceiling.
I'm gonna attach some colored cloth to the charge, make it easier to hit. Be kind of embarrassing to have the operation fall apart because I'm firing blindly in the dark.
Okay.
How much further do we have to go? I'm running out of steam.
Not much further.
See, Scott's not going to stop, though. He'll go in by himself if he has to. Is there a reason why we need to use the train? Is like a shield, maybe? I don't know.
See what I mean about
Nice shot.
Is that Annie?
Can't be.
But it is. She came back. I can't believe it.
Hi, everybody! I've been going crazy thinking I must have missed you, and suddenly here you are! Hooray!
Why are you back?
Better.
Hey, what happened back in the village, Annie?
Can you picture me as a jungle princess? They expected me to gather nuts and fruit, so I told them so long.
Oh boy.
Some of us are pulling out of the group because we're burnt out on fighting. We think it's time for a break.
Oh no! Don't tell me this is happening! Marlene, how about you?
I think it's best that I stay with Scott. I'm going to Reflex Point with him.
Good luck.
Ha! Good luck.
I'm going to Reflex Point. I'm going to prove to myself that I'm no coward.
I'm sure you'll do just fine, Lunk, but please be careful.
Thanks. I'm sorry you won't be there for the wrap-up.
Thanks, but this is what we want to do. So long.
No, wait a minute!
Wow, this is a little late in the game to be doing this.
Adios, amigos.
Okay.
It's obvious you expected Scott to give up his attack plans once you told him we were leaving the group. It must have been a shock when nobody else would drop out.
Why don't you back off, Buster? I can survive okay without them. I've been on my own a long time.
Okay.
Of course, I will miss Annie. I could see how upset she was when we left. She tried so hard to be a grown-up, but the fact is, she's still a little girl.
Oh boy.
Whatever their reasons, they're gone. We'll just carry on the fight without them.
I'm sure we'll find a way to overcome their loss.
Thanks for the vote of confidence, Marlene.
Well, everybody ready?
Annie? Huh? Let's go. It won't do any good to brood about it. We might as well hit the road.
And he's like, I could have been in Jungle Princess.
The trouble is, the further we get from the group, the more convinced I am it was a mistake to leave.
Oh, for God's sakes.
Oh, who am I kidding? I can't leave them, not at this point. I can't just abandon my friends when they need me the most. I'm going back, Ram. Don't try and talk me out of it.
Everybody remember, this is how close they are to leaving.
How many days did I say it would take to reach the coast?
About 4, if I recall correctly.
Well, now that we're back to full strength, I think I'll prescribe a little time off.
Yeah, we don't have to push this.
Driven by a sense of fellowship and a hope for the future, Scott's band of Robotech defenders continue their journey to Reflex Point together.
All right, everybody, we just finished watching Robotech, episode 75, Separate Ways, and the only thing left to do is talk about it. All right, everyone, we just finished Separate Ways, the 75th episode of Robotech. This one started off really, really well for me. I love these kind of like little hit and run things. This, a day in the life of our freedom fighter, so to speak, constantly harassed, constantly running, constantly either on the attack or, escaping from pursuit. It's just a constant cat and mouse game with them. And I really enjoy that kind of, that carry through of tension that we have throughout the entirety of this arc of the series anyway. Obviously, though, bringing up, I can understand why we had kind of like our test of faith this episode. It's a little late for it, narratively. You would think that it would have come like maybe even, 5 episodes, previously. But again, I understand why we had just gotten through an area and Annie had gone. I kind of talked myself into it as I was watching. I'm like, oh, Annie's leaving probably at least kind of put into the mind of Rook and Rand, the idea of leaving, that it was possible. It was something that could be done, because they kind of gotten, it was a lot of energy was put in. Oh, let's do this. Yeah, we're going to Reflex Point. Let's go. And then, you kind of think about it. And I can understand them being burnt out. I mean, my God, like we just said, it's a constant cat and mouse game. And so, I think that Scott making the decision at the very end of the episode to, take some time before they crossed, presumably, the Gulf of Mexico to get to North America and then, Reflex Point, as it was mentioned, kind of like the heart of America, kind of like the Midwest, Omaha, Nebraska type area. Someone had told me that Scott ended up like landing or crash landing initially in like towards the southern end of South America. I had put it, and then they basically said, Reflex Point is in North America, so the entirety of the series is pretty much them getting to Reflex Point or heading in the direction of Reflex Point. The person wasn't spoilery, so I appreciated that quite a bit. But in the same time, I thought they had already crossed like through Central America and into North America, but it seems that was not the case, which the map itself was really, really cool. I thought that, being actually able to see kind of like where they went, and interestingly enough, I'd like to go back and see if the dots that were on the map, there was kind of like a switchback up what would be like the east coast of South America. I'm wondering if each of those dots was one of our episodes. You know what I mean? Like, were those dots like the points of interest or the items of note on the map? I don't know, but it was very interesting to give us that at this time. I think it was. I'm not sure if it was overdue, but I think that it works really well as far as, my curiosity was, immediately drawn into that map, for those very reasons. This is where we've been before. We're still in South America. What? I just thought that was really, I thought that we had already progressed. And I'm interested that we're, it's like technically we're only about halfway there. And, Scott made it very, I'm not sure if it was Scott or Lancer said, oh, it's just one jump over an ocean to get there. Okay, but that's being airborne, and that's going to, like, again, draw the invid. The invid, as soon as you hit the air for any period of time, they seem to be all over you. So, and protoculture is going to be prevalent. We cannot mask that shit. That's awful. We can't hide from these guys. Even underground, their scanners are able to pierce and go in there. That new unit, oh my God, that beam that it has, that with the two emitters that form like the 2 points that form the one beam. Boy, oh boy, that thing's going to be a real pickle to deal with, especially if it can cut through asphalt and ground like that. I'm guessing it can cut through an alpha pretty fast too. Some really, really dope animation in this one. That whole sequence where we had the conversion of the cyclone. Holy smokes, when Scott was turned around and like the secondary panels were like still snapping and sliding into place as he turned around and like the boosters went off. That was really dope. 100%. Unless I've seen it before and just maybe missed it, which I don't think I did, that was the best animation that I've seen so far, especially of a transformation of the mecha. I thought that was really, really cool to see all of the varied components that were moving around and really interesting stuff. I did, and again, I did enjoy this episode a lot, and I always have to keep in mind they have 20 minutes to do something. You know what I mean? They don't have a whole lot of time to get into a topic, or a subject matter with this one, doubt, and really just kind of being like psychologically burned out. We saw that with Lunk. That deserved to have more time. To be fair to the characters, they just needed more time. They just didn't have it. So I can't really complain too much about, kind of like how rushed it felt, which it did. It was very rushed. But, we had them drive away and then immediately have a test of faith and be like, oh, let's go back. Which, again, they had to do. They had 20 minutes to do it. And the fact, I look at it like this. It was not the length of time needed to effectively address this subject, but at the same time, they addressed that subject. They brought it forward. They actually had these characters saying, should we do this? Should we go on with this mission? This is not really, I'm not feeling it anymore. And even in earlier Robotech, when do you see that? Like, the 15th never did that. The Skull Squadron never was like, I'm not so sure about this whole fighting thing, which I thought was, again, because in the earlier incarnations of Robotech, we were dealing with soldiers. We were dealing with military, lifelong military, or at the very least, like in Rick's case, somebody that had been folded and conscripted into the military, and we watched his maturation as first a pilot and then a squadron leader. So, we understood where he was. We watched him. We watched him develop as a soldier. Rook, Rand, Lunk, the three that had the biggest problem with all of this, had never, to my knowledge, been soldiers, like official military. Lancer, Scott, they were okay with it because they had been military. Now, wait, that's not true because Lunk was a mech, so he was in the military a bit. But again, he'd had that pre-existing kind of doubt. So it works. I just find it fascinating, and I always will when it comes to subject matter like this, that Robotech, brought it up. They revisited a topic that I personally thought had been taken care of with Lunk at his inception, when we first met him, and he was like, no, I'm gonna be brave this time, and I'm gonna go in. And having that kind of come back around in this moment of doubt where he almost died, and that's the thing that triggered Lunk. Lunk was in the truck. The Jeep got basically stuck. He rushed out of the Jeep, with seconds to spare when that huge, piece of the ceiling came down and crushed the cab of the Jeep. It would have killed him if he had been in there. He said there, we saw that freeze frame of him kind of shaking. He went on that violent kind of outburst against everybody. And that was a pure, I could have died because of doing this stupid shit. again, stupid shit in the moment. He thought, why am I doing this? And that question kind of resonated. And so he was able to absolutely, it made so much sense for Lung to then be like, you know what? I think the reason I'm a coward is I don't want to die. And he was faced with death. And so that revisited that earlier problem. Rook was kind of a surprise to me, and she's also wasn't, saying, I've been thinking about leaving too. I've been thinking about taking off because really, if we look back on it, Rook has been a kind of a silent member of the freedom fighters, offering things when needed, but in many ways, maybe our most closed off, our most walled off. I think that we're getting more, animation, no pun intended, more kind of a humanity, again, no pun intended, from Marlene. We're seeing her develop in a more rapid pace than Rook. And again, but that's not a fault of the writers or anything like that. It's just the character of Rook seems to be like that, seems to be, keeping everybody at arm's length. I love how Rand continues to misread things. And he thought that, well, if Rook wants to leave and she wants to leave with me, that means we're going to get married and have a. That was great. But again, everything was very rushed, and I have to always keep in mind that there is a time constraint on these episodes. They can't overrun. They can't do a two-parter just to flesh out, why everybody has doubts, even though I would have liked to have seen that. It's interesting, and I think that this was maybe, if you're working with a narrative, this is the last obstacle towards, the culminating event. You have to have your stumbling blocks, you have to have your trials and tribulations, and whenever you succeed in getting through those, and you're going to if it's a group, strengthening the group. If it's a single hero or heroine, that being able to basically eliminate doubt from their mind, then they're ready for the moment. And I think this is what that was supposed to be, that kind of like almost like group-wide catharsis where they're able to be like, okay, you know what? We're doubling down. We are fully committed. We are ready to go to Reflex Point. We are ready to end this and hopefully end the Invid. Friends, if you can do me a favor, hit that like button, smash that subscribe, ring that bell for notifications. It greatly helps out a small channel, and it allows me to alert you next time it's time for some Robotech. And of course, if there's anything that we do that you would like early or in its full-length format, the link to our Patreon is in the description. And if you're not a fan of Patreon, consider sticking with us on YouTube memberships. You'll get all of our episodes at least a day early. But my dear friends, all that is then, this is now, and now it's time to say goodbye from the mean streets of Robotech, or under the mean streets of Robotech in this episode. So where should we say goodbye from? Well, friends, I'm going to be a little sentimental, maybe a little mushy here, but I think that as soon as our group like solidified, kind of like doubled down on their commitment to the cause, and they were riding off together, that's where we should be and need to be, my friends, because though we are the Greek chorus and we are watching this story and delineating its information and spreading it to others, we are also part of the freedom fighters, and it's our turn to jump in formation and ride towards destiny. Until such time as we can see this group hopefully fulfill its mission, Vulcan roll, and I'll see you.